Welcome to Medicated Housewife DIY, where crafting and mental health come together. Hello again, my DIY loving friends, and welcome to my new friends. Let's transform your outdoor space with the easiest Dollar Tree DIY projects that will give your backyard a high-end look. In this DIY video, we'll create some amazing outdoor decor that requires minimal effort and budget. Don't miss out on some incredible tips and ideas that will leave your friends and neighbors in awe. Get inspired to create your own backyard oasis today, and let's go DIY together. So stick around, let's go make some stuff and jump right into this. For this DIY, we're starting with some tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree and super glue wood glue, also from Dollar Tree. First, we're gluing 11 of the blocks together side by side like you can see me do right here. Then we are going to glue together 10 sets of 2 blocks side to side. Then glue together 2 sets of 4 of those sets together side by side. So it sounds complicated, it's not. Ultimately, we end up with 1 set of 11 blocks, 2 sets of 8 blocks, and 2 sets of 2 blocks, as you can see me have right here. And if you're having trouble following, simply pause and replay the video until you catch up. Next, I take 3 battery-operated tea lights that I had in my stash, but you can get similar ones at Dollar Tree. They just may not be as tall as these, but that doesn't really matter. I am going to wrap the base of all 3 tea lights with jute twine from Dollar Tree, securing it with hot glue. Then I take 3 ping pong balls from Dollar Tree and I use a scissors to poke a hole that's large enough so that they will fit right over the flame part of my tea lights. I do that for all 3. I take all my sets of blocks plus 4 of these square wood beads from a Dollar Tree garland set, and I am going to fully paint them with folk art antique wax, which I will link for you in the description box below. I'm going to paint all sides of the blocks and the beads with the wax, using a dry paper towel to rub off the excess, but I want full coverage on all sides. Once the wax is dry, I sand all of the edges of all the pieces with this sanding sponge from Dollar Tree to distress them. Then it's time to assemble my mini tray. Spoiler alert, we are making a mini tray. I used the 2 block sets on each side of the 11 block set, and then the 2 8 block sets are the side walls, as you can see me do right here. Then I glue those 4 wood beads into the corners of the tray to use as feet to elevate the tray and give it some height. Off camera, I did attach some pieces of tumbling tower blocks to the bottom of the 3 tea lights to give them some height too. And this is my Jenga block mini tray with jute lights, and I think it's adorable. The ping pong balls look like mini light bulbs, and I love the way this is going to look outside at night. It is rustic, but really cute for an outdoor table light. And if you're not into the ping pong balls, if it's not your thing, that's okay. Just take them off and enjoy these rustic jute tea lights. This next DIY uses 1 clear plastic vase from Dollar Tree and a clear plastic plant tray. We're spray painting both pieces with some Rust-Oleum frosted glass paint, which I will link for you below. I cut about a 1/2 inch wide long strip of wood grain contact paper, which you can get at Dollar Tree, but I will also link other options below. I'm going to use hot glue to add some extra adhesive to attach the contact paper along the edge of that plastic plant tray, and I am doing my best to get it smooth around, although the shape of the tray does make applying contact paper smoothly a little challenging because it's round and sort of, tapered. I'm also putting the same size strip around the bottom edge of the vase so that the 2 pieces will coordinate. And because my contact paper ended up being less than smooth and flush, I like to be honest with you guys, I decided to camouflage the top and bottom edge of the paper by wrapping some macrame cord, which I will link for you below on both sides of that contact paper on the tray. I attached the macrame cord with some hot glue. I'm going to be using 2 puck lights from Dollar Tree, 1 at the bottom of the vase and 1 attached to the inside of the tray. And I also used some of these acrylic gems, which I will link for you below. I filled the vase about 1/4 way full with the gems over that light just to give the whole thing some weight so that it won't blow away while it's outside. I grabbed this 3-inch wood round I had in my stash. I covered it with contact paper on one side, and I'm going to glue the wood round into the inside of the tray so that I can attach my puck light to that instead of to the tray itself. I attached the light to the wood round and I decided I hated the way the hot glue was visible through the tray bottom, so I wrapped about 1 square inch of that macrame cord in a spiral on the top in the middle of the tray to hide that glob of glue. And this is how my outdoor table lamp turned out, and I am so thrilled with how much light this thing really gives off outside. It's so much light that I'm willing to overlook the not so perfect contact paper on the edge of the lampshade. This is such an easy project. I will be making more of them for my backyard, and the fact of the matter is they are virtually unbreakable, which is so important when using it outside, and they are so easy and inexpensive, a seriously practical and attractive outdoor decor DIY. Easy is an understatement for this next DIY. I am using 2 wood rings, which you can find at Dollar Tree, but I will link some below for you as well. I am also using these wood coffee stirrers I got at Walmart, but I will link something like them below for you. These stirrers are about 6 inches long, but you don't have to be exact, and all I am doing is using dabs of hot glue to attach 8 of these sticks in between the wood rings. They're spaced slightly apart, the sticks, and I'm not measuring anything. None of it has to be exact. I take 1 additional stick and I glue that to the back toward the middle of the other sticks, as you can see me do here. And I just put that there so that this will stand still and not rock back and forth, since the base is made of 2 circular rings. And that is all there is to this wood ring mini plant basket. I told you easy was an understatement, but how cool and boho is this little mini basket? Perfect for a succulent or a tiny tea light and such a cute outdoor decor piece. I absolutely love the simplicity of this. So basically, I have a ton of these sheets of these little ceramic tiles in my basement left over from a project from my daughter's new apartment, so we are using them now. But you can easily get these at any Home Depot or Lowe's, and they are cheap too. I cut a bunch of them off the sheet and then trim the grid backing off of all of the edges. Basically, I'm going to be making 8 squares using 4 of these tiles in each, and I attach them together with hot glue, but if you really want them to be secure, I'd recommend using something like E6000. And again, I'm making 8 of these little squares, although I end up only using 7. On 4 of those squares, I want to close the bottom, so I use an additional tile and center it to fit in the middle of the 4 tile square. And again, I do that with 4 of these squares. I don't do it with all of them. I'm using some caulk from Dollar Tree to fill in the lines between my tiles, although you really don't have to do this step, and frankly, this Dollar Tree caulk is so hard to work with, you may want to use real grout or skip the step altogether. I did my best to give a really quick caulking. Once the caulk dried, I assemble my candlesticks. That's right, we're making candlesticks. I wanted 2 different heights, so I used a closed square on the bottom of each, and then another closed square as the top part of each candlestick. One candlestick was 3 squares high, and the other was 4 squares high, and I stacked the squares on the diagonal for visual interest. And again, I am using hot glue to do this. You may opt for E6000 to make these candlesticks last longer. And these are my ceramic tile candlesticks, and I think they are so high-end looking. They have a real marble look to them, and I can't wait to use them. Considering for me, this project was practically free. Even if you buy a sheet of these tiles, it's very inexpensive, and I really feel like decor-wise, this is a lot of bang for your buck. This next DIY is a little bit more toward the fun side of decor, in my opinion. We are using the bottom part of this cardboard gift box from Dollar Tree, as well as 4 ping pong balls, also from Dollar Tree, and a set of fairy lights, which you can get at Dollar Tree, but I had these in my stash. I'm using Apple Barrel matte black paint to paint the entire outside of this box. I used 2 coats for full coverage, and I did poke a hole through the bottom, which will become the top for us of the box, since we will be using this upside down as a base. I used a tiny screwdriver and a small scissors to poke holes in the ping pong balls that were large enough to fit the fairy lights through. We are forming kind of a plus sign shape, so I will poke the holes in the balls in such a way that the fairy lights can be strung through them, and they will still be able to form that plus sign shape. Hopefully that makes sense to you, but if you watch what I'm doing, you will understand what I mean. The base of the fairy lights is inside of that base that we made out of the box, and the lights themselves were pulled through that hole in the base that we made before we painted it black. Now, there are 20 individual lights on the string of fairy lights, and we have 4 ping pong balls. So each ball will get 5 of those little lights squished inside of it through that little hole. Let's call that crafter's math. But before we get there, we do have to string the fairy lights through the bottom ball and into the second ball, and from there into the third ball, which is the top of our plus sign. Then the lights go from that top third ball into the fourth ball, down to the fourth ball, where they can stay. We only need 1 hole in that last fourth ball, and I really hope this is all making sense to you. You can also pause and replay, and then pause and replay again until it all does. I put the tape in front of the holes as I string these so that none of those lights will slide out of the holes while I'm going through the next ball. Again, I hope this makes sense. And again, when I get to the fourth, which is the last ping pong ball, I only need 1 hole going into it. That is where I squeeze the final 5 fairy lights into that 1 hole in the fourth ball. And that completes the stringing of the 4 balls with the fairy lights. With all 4 balls holding 5 lights from the string of lights, I use some hot glue to form my plus sign, gluing the first ball to the base. The second ball gets glued onto the first ball, the third ball gets glued onto the second ball, and the fourth ball gets glued to the third ball and also the first ball that's at the bottom. Ugh, please tell me you understand this. I promise this is really easy. Actually, it is, I promise. And this is my fun ping pong nightlight. I thought this was really cool looking. I may have done a bad job explaining this, but if you guys give it a try, everything will fall into place. What a cool thing for a kid's room or even on a bookshelf in a living room. Super simple, but really modern and artsy, and using all Dollar Tree supplies. And this DIY is so easy, I can't even call it a DIY. I taped up the flame part of 2 battery-operated tea lights, spray painted the bases with this Rust-Oleum bright, shiny gold, which I will link for you below. I cut 2 holes into 2 ping pong balls, large enough to slide over the little flames so that they look like little gold light bulbs. Then I grabbed 2 of these black candle holders from Dollar Tree and simply placed the tea lights on top of the candle holders. You can hot glue them in place if you want, but if you don't want to commit, just let the bulbs rest on top until you're done with them. And these are my 2 mini lampposts. At least that's what they remind me of. Those like old-fashioned lampposts. A cute idea for outside, different than just a plain tea light. And as usual, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments which one of these easiest Dollar Tree high-end outdoor decor DIYs is your favorite and why. I really love hearing from all of you. And if you've enjoyed this DIY video, there is another one waiting for you. Just click that link on your screen for more Medicated Housewife DIYs. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my name is Sarah, I'm the Medicated Housewife, and crafting is my medication.